back, everybody, to Huckleberry Bastion. So today, I thought we'd do a budget knife review. I was in Canadian Tire recently, and I saw this knife there, and it was on sale for 20 bucks. And I like the look of it, first off, that kind of caught my eye. And then as I looked at it a bit more, I noticed it has kind of all the features I like in a bush knife. And I thought, 20 bucks, even if it's a piece of garbage, I'm not really out that much. We can do a review on it, maybe we break it and get some good footage. So let's take a look at what we have here. So it's a Huntshield Western Heritage forged AP knife, which is quite a mouthful. I'm guessing the AP stands for all purpose, but who knows. Now this is a Canadian Tire brand knife, I guess. I couldn't really find that much information online about it, so I'm just going to tell you the stats as I know them. So if you take a look at it, it kind of has this old school look, and I really kind of like that. Now, it has like the scale still on the blade, which helps protect it against corrosion and stuff, but I just like it. It's kind of a cool style. It has a 90-degree spine, but as you'll see, I'm going to show you some video of using the ferro rod on the spine. Now you think it was 90 degrees, it'd be nice and sharp, but I had a real hard time getting a spark off of this area because the scale, it just smooths it out a little bit. So you don't really have that sharpness that digs in, but down here towards the tip, it could dig in fairly well and get a decent spark off that ferro rod. Now, like I said, it's a 5.5-inch blade, which is a good size. That's right in the area that I like for a bush blade. To me, it looks like it has pretty much a flat grind. Yeah, it thins from the spine down, and then they've just made a grind there with your cutting edge. It's full tang, so one big piece of steel with just these wooden scales pinned and glued. And while I was doing some splitting, I noticed that there's a slight separation here and here on the scales, but it doesn't go in very deep, and it's so thin you can't even fit a guitar pick in there. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. And I was whacking it pretty good. I ran into a knot doing some batoning and tried to force it through, so it held up pretty good. The handle itself is quite thick. I think it's like 3 7/8 of an inch in diameter at the largest part of it, and it has kind of that Coke bottle shape, that rounded shape. It's real comfortable. It's a bit thick for my hand, but again, I have small hands. But it's really comfortable. You can choke up nice, get a good grip. The only problem I found, is when I was doing a little bit of chopping, I was slipping a bit. I was trying to come back here, and there's not much to get a hold of back there. So it was sliding around a bit if I held it back this way. And without a lanyard hole, you didn't have anything to really help you keep a grip there. But using it like that, using it to chest lever, putting it on your knee, all that worked out really well. Now the handle has these grooves cut on both sides here and here, and I'm not 100% sure what they're for. I don't know if you're supposed to put your thumb in there and it's supposed to assist you in cutting this way, or if you put a finger or whatever. I've never used a knife like that. Maybe people who do more processing a game and things, maybe that's a technique they use, but I couldn't really find any reference to it. So if somebody knows exactly the purpose of that and what it's for, yeah, just let me know. So with that 1/8 of an inch thickness on the spine, it's pretty tough. I had no problems using a baton on it, even right down on the kind of the drop, where the drop point starts, and just hammering away on it, no problems at all as far as strength. The tip is a bit thick, So if you're trying to do finer stuff with the tip, you might have to grind it down a bit. But it is really strong. I didn't have any problems again, just poking in and trying to make holes and things with it. So that's good. Now the weight is pretty good. I'm not sure exactly how much it weighs. I don't have a scale, but it's a lot lighter than like my BK2 SE5 and my custom Huckleberry knife. And that's mainly due to the reduced thickness. Most of those are like near a quarter of an inch thick, where this is just 1/8 of an inch. So that's reducing a lot of steel, and with that steel gone, you're going to get a much lighter knife, which is good because then you're going to get less hand fatigue. I find using my thicker knives that are heavier, your hand gets a bit fatigued quicker than it does with this one. So that's definitely a plus. And the amount of strength you're losing, I still think like the 4mm there, the 1/8 of an inch, is plenty good for most tasks. So, you know, it's probably a good compromise. Now with the knife, you do get this leather case and a small fire steel, small ferro rod. We'll take a look at the sheath. Now, I don't think it's actual leather. To me, it looks like something that's manufactured. I mean, it's too consistent. The grain is too consistent. Has this glossy surface. And yeah, even on the inside, it looks like something that was manufactured. It doesn't look like natural leather at all. And if you put water on it, it just repels water like something that's hydrophobic. So usually water will soak into leather. But this stuff, it just beads right off. So I'm going to guess that it's probably some kind of synthetic. But it's not a terrible case. I mean, at a $20 price point, yeah, it's decent. I mean, the knife fits in well. And it holds it in as much as can be expected. So the case came with this compartment to hold a ferro rod, and the ferro rod's about, I don't know, you get about 1.5 inches of actual rod there, and the rest is the handle. And on it they had just painted it black. I think it was just black paint on the top, which you can easily scrape off. I had a few problems getting it to spark at first by using the spine of the knife, but that didn't seem to be the rod itself. It seemed to be just the edge wasn't very sharp there on that part of the spine. So when I used like my Leatherman, or I used the towards the front of the blade on the spine on the back there, I was able to get sparks off it no problem. So it's useful. I think you could get a fire going with it. It's not as good as a lot of ferro rods out there. It doesn't produce as many sparks as some of my other ones, but in an emergency, if you got the skills, I think you could use it. Now, if we compare this case to another knife case that's in the $40 to $50 range, which is the Lestrade Camillus Arctic knife, that case is just garbage. So compared to that, this one is decent. Sheath has this belt loop, which is just stitched off here. It's not that big. It fits all of my belts, but if somebody has a really wide belt, they might have some issues. But you could just cut that stitching out and maybe stitch it down here, or just leave it open for a really large loop. I mean, I think that's really the selling point for me for this knife, is that it's good enough on its own, and at $20 it can become a nice little project knife, because I'm definitely going to make some modifications to it. Maybe put some jimping and stuff up here, and maybe an actual choil down here, and I might even burn my logo into it just for the fun of it. But it could be a nice little project knife for somebody. So overall, this knife has a lot of pluses. It's a simple but effective design with a lot of good features that we were looking for. So somebody in the design process thought it through and came up with a decent design. Now that being said, My only big negative really is that it's made in China. So I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know what the quality is going to be in the long run. I can't find out what the steel is and how that's going to hold up. I can tell you with the test I've done so far, everything seems to be good, and even after doing work with the wood and splitting and things, it's held its edge fairly well. So it's just something I'm going to have to try over a period of weeks and see how it holds up, because right now it seems fine. In conclusion, is this knife worth 20 bucks? Well, the simple answer is yes, it is definitely worth 20 bucks. But there's another way to look at it. It comes with a sheath and a ferro rod, so I mean, even if we take a few bucks off, say $5 for the sheath and ferro rod, now you have a $15 knife. And this knife is definitely worth 15 bucks. It's a knife you can throw in your pack, throw in your car, take to the camp, and not have to worry about it, losing it, because you're only out like 20 bucks total. So definitely, if you see it at the store, grab one. It performed well, did everything we needed, has all the features that we like. Yeah, definitely pick one up if you see it. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time on Huckleberry Bastion.